Hi everybody and welcome to today's video. I thought I would make a little review of a few materials that I've just gotten delivered. And these are my Pentel color brush pigment pens, and I got them in black, sepia and grey. And I thought we could have a lot of fun with them and see if they are as permanent as they are said to be. Then I have a Faber Castell 4600 graphite lead holder, and I also got Staedtler Mars Carbon in 4B because that's my preferred softness and darkness when sketching. And I'm gonna show you how to replace the lead in this one because this came with a lead and it's not my preferred one. And lastly but not least, I'm gonna show you the Faber Castell Ecco pigment fine liners in the nib sizes 0.1, 0.3, 0.5 and 0.7, and see how they perform with both a water-based brush nib, which I'm gonna use this Tombow dual nib, and I'm also gonna try it with Copic Sketch to see if they hold up to an alcohol marker, because a lot of eyeliners do well with one but not the other, and I'm gonna figure out if all the nib sizes work with alcohol markers and water-based markers, or if it is just the way it usually is, where the 0.1 will perform great with both, but the broader nibs won't do as well. Let's figure this out. The easiest thing to do is to replace the nib, or should I say the lead in this. You press down up here and it just comes out. That's how you remove the lead. And in this one you pull it down to reveal the lens. You take one out, let them slide back, and then close it. And you insert it the same way as you removed it. And there you go. You have the 4B lead in it instead of the I think it was an HB lead, I'm not sure, but I prefer a little bit softer, a little bit darker. That's what's in this now, and I like it. It's the first time I've used one of these lead holders, and I can really recommend it. It's, in my first initial impression, I think it tapers down a little bit too small here towards where you would hold it, because the grip becomes kind of tight, and I can imagine if you have this grip for a long period, for several hours when drawing, your hand might be tired and you might have to adjust your grip to hold it higher up on the pen or the lead holder, just to be more comfortable. And of course, since you can adjust it, you can also pull it out and have an insanely long lid if you want. And it's great for shading and filling in areas, but there's always the risk that if you have it very long, it might break off. But this is a 2mm lead, so it should hold up to basically anything as far as everyday pressure when drawing is concerned. When testing fine liners, I find that one habit that a lot of people who do reviews do that kind of frustrates me is that they test them, either they only test one of the nib sizes and they either love the brand because of it or they hate the brand because of it. But nib sizes work really differently. A 0.1, this one, it will dry the fastest, it will dry the cleanest, and it is the least likely nib to cause any problems with smudging or bleeding or anything like that. It is usually well behaved, and the bigger you get as far as the nib size, the longer it's gonna take to dry. So you might think it's a difference of minutes, but sometimes it's a difference of between 1 minute for it to be fully dry to 24 hours before it's fully dry. So it's not as easy as just thinking that, oh, if this is a 0.7 and that's a 0.1, then it should take 7 times longer. That's not accurate. I've heard someone say that before, and it's just the bigger the nib, the more ink it puts down on the page, and I don't know the technical reason why, but it takes a lot longer for them to dry. So the bigger nib sizes are preferred when you do your line work on one day and you go over it with watercolor or with water-based markers, and in some cases they also work with alcohol markers. If you do that work several days later, it might work great. So let's try these out. I'll start with the 0.1. And what I'm testing first, of course, is how well they do with the water-based brush nib, and the second is how well they do with an alcohol-based pen. I'm gonna zoom you out so you can see what I'm doing here, and this is just improvised, and I'm starting with the Tombow in the yellow color 055. There's a little bit of bleeding, but that's expected when it's and in this case the 0.3 and 0.5 nib sizes performed the best, but I put a little bit extra pressure on the first one, on the 0.1, but let's see how they perform with a Copic marker. It has had less than a minute to dry, and as you can see, the best one is 0.1, but it still needs a little bit more time to dry. So what I'm gonna do basically is I'm gonna do these over again, and I'm gonna let them dry a bit longer. Do the same thing. And this time I'm gonna come back to them later towards the end, so I give them a few minutes to dry and we'll see how they behave. So I'll put these to the side and let's talk about these. Let's see if I can get them something like that. These are something I've seen online, and I've seen them several times and I've been curious about them. But even though I've been really curious about them, I feel like they are a little bit intimidating. I don't know if they are as good as the videos I've seen, but if they are, this is gonna be a game changer for me personally. So I have the black one, the sepia one, and the gray one. These are the only 3 colors this come in. And if you want the permanent pigment, you should look for the gray barrel. If it has a black barrel, it is not permanent. And this is of course from Pentel, and they are supposed to be really, really good. So I'm gonna start preparing the black one, and you remove this red ring and then you reattach it. Let's see how this works. And you're supposed to press the barrel slightly. And you can see here that the ink is working itself down, and I don't want to put too much pressure on it and get a big blob of ink and feel like I'm wasting it. Oh, here you can see it's starting to work itself down into the bristles. It's a little bit dry, but that's to be expected. And I'm gonna squeeze out a little bit more to see if I can, oh. Yeah, this is beautiful to work with. The line variation is quite dramatic, and I'm gonna try the other ones as well. Let's go with the gray one first. I'm interested to see how dark the gray one is compared to the black, because the black is intensely black. It's really, really black. So let's see how the gray will perform. Yeah, it's almost there. Okay, it's dark. It's actually really dark. If I didn't have the black one already, I would have assumed this is the black one, because it's really dark. It shows the gray tones better when you do broad strokes, but when you're drawing fine lines, at least when it's wet, it looks almost black. But once it dries, like you can see here, when it's dry, it looks a bit more dark mid-tone gray. But it is a lovely, lovely nib to work with, this brush. And I love that it has bristles instead of these types of brush nibs, which frustrate the hell out of me. This is a lot more fun, and you can get those really fine lines that are so elusive with a brush nib that isn't bristles, and these have nylon bristles. Let's see how the sepia looks, if it is also really dark or if it is a little bit lighter perhaps. Who knows? I certainly don't know yet. A little bit dry. It's a lovely dark sepia. And I'm a bit tentative to putting too much pressure on the barrel. I don't want to bleed all over the place with this being permanent, but it is absolutely lovely, and it is sensitive to pressure changes, and you can get a really broad line, and you can also get really fine ones. I'm struggling at the moment, but hey, who else would if not me? Yeah. It's a bit on the dark side for my liking. I was hoping for a more lighter sepia, since these are the only 3 colors they come in, but that's what you get when you only have 3 colors to choose from. They have to be a little bit more focused on the broader audience. They can't be so niche as I would have preferred them to be. And let's go back to the Ecco fine liners and see how they are doing now. The 0.1 nib has 0 bleed, 0 smudging. It works really well. 0.3 nib does really well too. Let's see. The 0.5 has a little bit of bleed, as does the 0.7 nib. And that is to be expected with an alcohol marker. They are notorious for having problems with fine liners, and a lot of people are doing their fine line work afterwards, or trying to stagger it a little bit so they don't get so much bleed. And now let's see if these will bleed. And with a regular Tombow, it does bleed. I'll check with a watercolor brush to see if it bleeds. And it doesn't. Yeah, maybe a tiny little bit. But these haven't had that long to dry either. Yet there's a tiny smidge of reactivation. And I'm guessing that if I let these dry for another 10-15 minutes, they would behave a lot differently. So that's what I'm gonna do over here. I'm gonna This is the black. This is the gray. And this is the sepia. I'm gonna let these dry for like an hour and come back to you and see if they smudge and bleed as well, or if it really is just a matter of time to let it dry. I think it's a matter of time, but let's find that out together. Hi again, I'm back, and I did some more just to have some comparison. So these on the left side, these two were done an hour ago, and these two on the right side were done 5 minutes ago. And let's see the 1 hour. There's absolutely zero bleed. It's holding up really well. And now let's see about the 5-minute ones. So 5 minutes seem to be holding up perfectly. So my conclusion is this, because I figured out why the water looked the way it did. I was using dirty water, so that's totally my mistake. That's my fault, not the pen's fault or the brush nib or the ink's fault. It was totally my fault. And when I used clean water, I didn't have a really short, I can do that, a short waiting period. I'm just testing the black one this time, because after 5 minutes they are completely permanent. There is no budging of the pigment, no reactivation, no smudging, no nothing. And let's see how this brand new one does. Nothing. It works perfectly. So yeah, if you do it the right way, they are permanent and they dry really fast. So that's the good news to end on, and I've had a lot of fun making this video. And in conclusion, these Pentel brush pigment are permanent. They work really, really well. And just to make sure, where is it? There it is. I'll try it with, yeah. It even works with the Copic alcohol markers. So these are safe to use with Copic markers, with alcohol markers in general, I assume. And they are also used, you know, with water technique. So that's really great. These three, again, as usual, the finer the nib, the less smudging you're gonna see. And if you wait a little bit, the 0.1 and 0.3 nib works perfectly with alcohol markers. And this new Faber Castell TK 4600, I changed the lead. I had a fun time. It was really a lot easier than I expected it to be, and because of that, I think I will have a lot of fun using this going forward. And it will probably replace a lot of my regular graphite pencils, because this is just a lot nicer, and the pen doesn't get shorter just because you use a lot of the lead, which is to me the biggest win with this one. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I had a great time. I hope you liked it. Bye bye.